Hello, everyone. Welcome to Todd Talks. I'm joined by Lauren Urban, our community manager over at D&D Beyond, and I am extremely excited for a very cool Unearthed Arcana that has just come out. This will be available on D&D Beyond, I believe, next Monday. If that
Ish,
is on
ish.
our
We'll let
ish,
you know. We'll let you
we'll
know
let
when
you
it's
know.
available. Like
Yeah,
always,
as always, that's a
follow
moving
our socials.
that could be a moving target. I am so over the moon about this Unearthed Arcana, and there's lots of implications. So this is Unearthed Arcana 2021. It's Gothic lineages. And this is what we're really starting to dive into for the future of D&D, I feel like, when it comes to lineages, is that race is being very much used in a different way now in D&D. Since Tasha's, and now with this UA, you get to customize things a lot more, and they make it very clear in this material that your race does not determine like these special abilities and all this other stuff. It's being used in a different way, which is, I hope, is going to make a lot of people happy. So far, my initial reading of it, I'm optimistic. So, but I haven't had a lot of time with it also. So, but let's focus on the super creepiness, which is always my favorite thing.
Oh,
So,
well, I do want to chime in about the
yeah,
it's not an update really. It's just a recommitment to what they put out in Tasha's, which is this
right.
idea of separating the a lot of the stuff that you would normally taking your race and saying, okay, there's stuff that you're going to get because you're a magical fey creature from the Feywild, and there's stuff that you're going to get because of where you grew up, and we're going to separate those two. And and especially for me, the ability score increase, being able to put that where you need it
Yes.
to go, I think that is I loved that got implemented in Tasha's. I'd been using other versions of that before Tasha's came along. I think this is a step in the right direction and better for everybody because this allows greater freedom, especially for people who want to have those options. They want to be able to play this race and this lineage and this class, but they need to like hodgepodge things together. You have to give up stuff, and now you don't. Now you can have the character that you want, and you can
Yeah,
build it the way you want it.
absolutely. And if I see one more tiefling warlock, you know,
I
because
mean,
they get that +2 to charisma.
I'm gonna make a tiefling
No,
warlock.
no,
I'm just
no,
gonna
it's
have
fine.
yeah.
I'm just saying, like, lots of half elf tiefling warlocks out there.
And now all of my Aarakocra dreams can come true.
Oh, nightmare. Okay,
Hey,
so
all right, all of my tiefling dreams can come true.
so in this UA, all my dreams have come true because I love all these things, and a very harken. I believe it harkens back all the way to 3rd edition, but certainly 4th edition.
Yeah.
And we've got and I always say Dhampir, and I don't know if that's the right way. And given the fact that I actually probably have a bachelor's in like vampire studies, I should get that right.
Yeah,
But
you're the
we've got
creepy expert. I'm gonna go with whatever you say here. And until we've got it on D&D Beyond, we have Matt Mercer going, damn fear. Then I'll go with what you say.
Dhampir sounds a lot better, and I actually did teach a class on how to kill vampires and vampire mythology. So, anyways, we've got the Dhampir, we've got the Hex Blood, and we've got the Reborn. And I love all of these for lots of reasons because I probably have played a variant of every single one of these, minus probably the Hex Blood. So, like we mentioned before, right off the bat, this UA says creating your character. At first level, you choose whether your character is a member of a human race or of one of the game's fantastical races. Alternately, you can choose the following lineages. And when you choose a lineage, you may have, once been member of another race, but you aren't any longer. You now possess only your lineage's racial traits. So when you create a character using a lineage option here, follow the additional rules during character creation because all three things in this change what you are fundamentally, which I love. I love the idea that you can now play a character, and especially narratively, where what you were has fundamentally changed. I think this is a great story hook for dungeon masters and players alike, right?
I think you're not the only person who thinks that, considering how often we get asked about being able to do lycanthropy rules or being able
Absolutely.
to get half traits here and there. I think, that kind of thing is appealing to a lot of D&D players for a bunch of different reasons.
Yeah, I love that this can be an overlay. It's solved a lot of like narrative issues I have for one of my favorite characters, my personal character Rend. I always played him as a Warforged, but he's not Warforged. So this helps this kind of thing. So you get the standard ability score increases that you saw from Tasha's. So you get like a +2 in one area and you get a +1 in another area. That's what basically replaces when one of these things happens to you.
Can I mention real quick?
Yeah,
and I
go
know
ahead.
we're going back a little bit. I think this is another reason that it's really good to remove ability score increases from your lineage or your race, because narratively, it is a lot of fun to have this kind of change happen to your character. And the more it impacts your core abilities to be competent in your class, the less fun it is. Like, I think there's some good things to having limitations. I think, having things go wrong or having negatives here and there and having problems is a good issue to have with your character. Not everything needs to be roses and amazing, but if you're going to make a fundamental change to your character and then it's going to mess up the balance and you're no longer as effective because I got +2 in the wrong thing, that sours the fun a little bit, in my opinion. And now you have the choice. Now you can say, all right, I'm going to make this narrative change and I can choose where to put these things, and maybe you keep the same ability scores and you roll with the change and not being as optimized, or maybe you enjoy having the more optimized features. I think this encourages people to not just lock down their character and stick with it. At level 10, if you're suddenly a Hexblood, you can go ahead and make those little tiny score changes and still feel like you're an effective member of the team and getting the narrative focus that you want. There, I will get off my soapbox.
No, I think it's fantastic. I mean, this is a game that should be about you getting to play what you want to play.
Yeah.
So, within reason. Not Trask.
Oh.
Though Richard Witters did draw me a very love Dragonborn Trask.
I remember that. That was super cool looking, and I wanted to stat it up and play it.
Yeah. He drew that for me, and I'm like, well, that's not even a dragon. Yeah, he said like, it's not a Dragonborn anymore. Is that okay? I'm like, it's beautiful, and I love him.
Yeah.
So let's get to
very cool.
Let's get to the creature types. We have a list of types here, very specific, that you can actually change your character into. So it starts off with creature type. Every creature in D&D, including every player character, has a special tag in the rules that identifies the type of creature they are. Most player characters are either, some type of humanoid type. A race option presented here tells you what your character or creature's type is. Here's the list of the game's types in an alphabetical order. So we got aberrations, we got beasts, celestials, constructs, dragons, elemental, fey, fiend, giant, humanoid, monstrosity, ooze, plant, undead. These types don't have rules themselves, but some rules in the game do affect these creatures very specifically. For example, the text of Cure Wounds spells is specific in that the spell does not work on undead or constructs. So choose your options carefully.
Yeah, you might think it's super cool to be undead until suddenly you need healing, and suddenly your cleric can't help you at all. You might think it's really neat to be a dragon until your ranger has advantage on attacking you because they're your favorite enemy. That there can be some interesting things that happen depending on what creature type you pick.
Now, is all healing spells that way? Like healing word, is that also not something that works on undead or constructs?
Yep. And resurrection magic is the same. If you are an undead or a construct, that resurrection magic will not work. In fact, it says it specifically in those spells. It doesn't just say it only works on certain things. I believe it says specifically will not work if you are undead.
Yeah. Is it the same for constructs? You cannot resurrect a construct, though?
I'm pretty sure, but you know what? I'll go look it up while you continue, just to make sure.
Having more than one type. Some creatures are more than one creature type. If an effect works on at least one of the creature types, that effect can work on that creature. For example, If you're both humanoid and are undead, Cure Wounds works on you, since the spell works on humanoid. That
But
is a dramatic departure.
but once again, you take on 2 creature types, and you take on the bonuses and also the detractors of both of those things. So,
But rules is written as it says right here, having more than one creature type. Some creatures are often more than one creature type. If an effect works on at least one creature's type, that effect can work on that creature. For example, again, you are both a humanoid and are an undead, Cure Wounds works on you.
And it looks like I was wrong about the bringing creatures back to life. I just pulled up Raise Dead, and it says the spell can't return an undead creature to life, but it doesn't talk about constructs. However, if you do look at healing, like Healing Word, it specifically says the spell has no effect on undead or constructs.
Right. But in the wording of this UA, because I think this is very important right out of the gate, is you're being severely penalized for what they are introducing into the game right now, which is the ability to play undead or constructs. This having more than one type is this caveat here allows you to avoid these kind of problems. That makes a lot of sense.
It does. I do think it, though, does add some stuff, because there are some spells that only work on certain creature types. And so if it works on one, it works on both. Things that you could normally get away with because you are a humanoid, you can't anymore if you're more than one. So
that
you take the good, you take the bad,
exactly,
you take them both, and there you have a creature type.
I like being a Dhampir. Is that how you say it? I'm going to get yelled at for not getting this right.
In the comments, no, don't yell at us. We're doing our best.
I mean, if you want to play a vampire, play a vampire. You don't want to be penalized and not be able to get Cure Wounds. But that also means you might be able to get turned. So
yeah, you definitely could, because you are undead. And I do think if you're going to pick something that's going to have that many repercussions in a standard D&D party, you probably want to talk to everybody ahead of time. Talk to your DM, talk to your players, and at least talk through what your response to that kind of thing is. Don't let it be a complete surprise when it comes up in game, because especially for something as important like being able to heal, being able to use certain abilities, being able to work with your party as a team, both the role playing and the stat stuff.
I do have
you
to
want
say
to know that ahead of time.
Wanting to know that ahead of time with the DM, I think is fine. But a lot of these are nice surprises later on in the road of, being in an adventuring party. Like if people don't know you are essentially a vampire, I think that's very interesting. So we've got the Dhampir, and poised between the worlds of the living and the dead, Dhampirs retain their grip on life, yet are endlessly tested by their vicious hungers. Their ties to the undead grant Dhampirs a taste of the vampire's deathless prowess in the form of increased speed, dark vision, and life-draining bite. With unique insights into the nature of undead, may Dhampirs turn the lives of adventurers and monster hunters, turn to the lives of being an adventurer or a monster hunter themselves. So, Blade, or lots of stuff, Castlevania. So then we have, there are reasons often for deeply personal, There are reasons that are often deeply personal. Some seek danger, imagining monsters as personifications of their own hungers. Others pursue revenge against whatever turned them into a Dhampir in the first place. And still others embrace the solitude of the hunt, striving to distance themselves for those who tempted them. I really love all of this. This is super fun. These are all things that we see quite often. We see these half vampire, half human types struggling against undead. And frankly, if you've come to scrap in Ravenloft, you're probably not walking out 100%. I don't care if you're the paladin.
Maybe.
You're going to have a little bit of something.
You take something with you. Also, I like all of these options. I do want to see the non-angsty version, the person who has become this Dhampir and is super happy.
Yeah.
This is awesome. This is amazing.
Excited.
Yeah. I'm going to tell everybody, look what I can do. this is fantastic. Why not?
Playing against type is always chef's kiss fun.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So I always adore it. You and I had a recent conversation about the order of the Paladin Order of Redemption, and that you can play that character very dark and very in the middle of the road and very neutral, to great delight. And I would point at Papa Midnight and Constantine as an example of a potential character that way. So
we're definitely the odd couple when it comes to this kind of thing. You're like, I can take any character and turn it dark and brooding. And I'm like, I can take any character and turn them into rainbows and lollipops. Let's do this.
Yes. It is true.
Yeah.
Dhampir hungers. It sounds terrible. Dhampir sounds so strange to me. Dhampir hungers. Every Dhampir knows a thirst slacked only by the living. The desire is a whisper in their mind, a tinge in their sight, a reflex of constantly needing to be suppressed. Those who overindulge their thirst risk losing control forever, viewing others as prey. Those who resist might find exceptional ways of controlling their urges, suppress it through constraint, molar grinding. Like literally, I just had this conversation with Megan, my wife, about one of her favorite characters, and that it'd be really fun if they slowly shave down their teeth for reasons.
That makes more sense. As someone with jaw issues, I saw molar grinding. I'm like, get yourself one of those things at night that you can bite down on. You don't want to get lockjaw. That's just the worst.
Well, our two favorite characters are Whittle and Rend, and she plays a character named Whittle, and then we realize, a vampiric version of her character, Whittle, who whittles down her teeth, is hilarious. Anyways, while many Dhampirs thirst for blood, your character might otherwise gain sustenance from the living. Roll on this table. This is always given as an example, but here are a couple of the hungers, and this reminds me of the either second edition or third edition had Vangdam Richten's Guide to Vampirism. Fantastic series. Same thing for Liches. I still own both. They're coveted pieces of content I love. So you might be hungry for blood. You may be hungry for flesh or raw meat. That's the thing that grosses me out. Cerebral spinal fluid is one of the ones from that book, and it's so gross.
That's a different bite. You're not going for a neck or something.
That's a spinal tap.
You're like, let me just lift up that the back of your shirt for a second.
Yeah, it's not so great. Esoteric humors. Interesting.
Humors isn't that it's a bone in the body. Hold on. I'm gonna do another
like an old timey reference. This almost reminds me of I believe a David Bowie movie.
It's a mood or a state of mind.
Right. So and this comes into like psychic energy as well. So the color of one's appearance is interesting as well. Dreams.
I crave blue
is interesting. Yeah. Dreams and life energy. All of this we've seen, and there are various vampiric myths that are very attached to all of this stuff. In Eastern and Western mythology, lots of spectrum there. So yeah, I like seeing this for the first time, because this is again, I love vampires. I studied a ton about vampires as a kid. So seeing all this kind of like show up is quite fantastic. So
I'm being told, I've got experts in chat who are telling me we're actually pretty close. That's specifically Dhampir. So
okay, yeah, Dhampir. Yeah.
Yeah, for the spelling. Oh, that didn't come out right in our backstage chat, which is from the Albion and is somewhat like Dhampir. So in English, it's however we decide. And on top of that, this is also now a D&D word, and so
I can see Dhampir is fun to say, and it reminds you of saying vampire, and so Dhampir I quite like. So
yeah,
we do have a couple options for your origins, so you get to mix it up here. You want to go and run through those?
Yeah, sure. So a lot of these I think are good things to go through before you decide what your creature type wants to be for obvious reasons. You are the reincarnation of an ancestor who who was a vampiric tyrant. Strahd. Your pact with a predatory deity, fiend, fae, or spirit caused you to share their hunger, which I actually really like this one because it
Really good.
doesn't.
The idea of the fae, of a vampiric fae is like,
Yeah,
ooh, yeah, I like
if you
that.
want to roll with the idea of being a vampire but are not into the undead part of it, then that's a really interesting one to go with.
Yeah.
You survived being attacked by a vampire but were forever changed. A parasite inhabits your body. You indulge your hunger to sate it. So aliens. You loved an immortal and were willing to be transformed into a vampire to join them, but tragedy interrupted the transformation.
Now I'll go back
Because
to that parasite right there. That is pure. You've got a mind flare tadpole in your brain, and you feed off psychic energy now. I'm down to scrap. So
yeah,
like,
I've got a piece of flumph in my brain, and so now I crave pink. I just need to see all the pink.
oh my god! And then I hope you drain the pink, so there's like nothing with pink anywhere. Oh, imagine if it was green. You just come to a black and gray forest.
Mm.
Oh, that's a good kind of twist. Like you're like, wait, our game is black and white right now.
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's
Very
it's a
dark shadows.
mood. Or maybe it's a mood. Maybe it's not that you're
Yeah.
draining the color out of something as much as you need to be surrounded by it. You need to be infused with it. You know, why is all your clothes pink? Because the flump in my head. You are a diminished manifestation of an otherworldly being. Slaking your hunger hastens your renewal. So
Ooh.
yeah, if you want to be baby god, there you go.
Well,
You don't know your origins, but you were raised by vampires or other monsters, which is I'm sorry, I want to
That's adorable.
I want to see that sitcom. You know, the three vampires and a baby. A radical experiment changed your body, making you reliant on others for vital fluids, which I think works with anything. But I read that and I kind of immediately go Eberron or some of the more like the Simic Guild in Ravnica.
Yeah, certainly Morbius from the Marvel comics comes to mind. I do kind of like this for Avern, my little wannabe god. For like he still has to feed off something. That's fun. I like that. But these are all good. These are all great story hooks, and this is what I love about D&D now, that they give you these options, and this really shows you, okay, you can really think far afield. You don't have to just think vampires. You can think something much broader and more interesting. So.
And not just vampires. You don't have to think classic vampire. You don't have to think Dracula. You don't have to think Anne Rice, and you don't have to think about sparkly vampires. You can think about a whole host of ideas.
I encourage you not to. So we do have some traits here. You are both humanoid and undead. This means you can be resurrected and healed. You are medium or small, so you get to choose one of those from your lineage, and you get 30. Your speed is now 35 feet. You have dark vision within 60 feet. You have spider climb, which I love. Spider climb. I'll use spider climb for any reason. It doesn't even matter if it matters. So you can cast this at a 3rd level. Once you hit 3rd level, you can move up and down across vertical surfaces, upside down along ceilings, while leaving your hands free. That's great.
It's fun.
It should be noted though, spider climb, you have the climbing speed equal to blah blah blah, and you move up and down. This is not considered a spell. It's called spider climb, but as written, this is not a concentration spell.
No, it's kind of like the Tabaxi. They don't call it spider climb. They just call you just have a climbing speed. So yeah, this is just something you can do. And it specifies that it leaves your hands free. So you're not even like climbing, you're kind of just walking on the ceiling.
Okay.
Dancing on the ceiling. So we actually have a question that I'm going to read off now because it's going to ask about this vampiric bite.
I am going to be right back. I got to take care of something. I apologize so much.
Todd is going to go off and be a vampire for a moment, and I will take care of vampiric bite. Bye. I'm in charge of this show now. So flumps, everybody be flumps, be your vampiric flumps. It's amazing. It's going to be so much fun. Okay, so the question we got from chat was, Dhampir's vampiric bite says, add Constitution modifier to attack and damage rolls. It doesn't say instead of. So does that mean it's in addition to the Strength modifier? Well, let's take a look. So, Vampiric Bite. Your Fanged Bite is a natural weapon, which counts as a simple melee weapon for which you are proficient. You add your Constitution modifier to the attack and damage rolls when you attack with your bite. Your bite deals 1d4 piercing damage on a hit. While you are missing half or more of your hit points, you have advantage on attack rolls you make with this bite, which is, mind flayers are going to know all about this, although it's more than fangs. It's more like an actual mouth kind of thing. So add your Constitution modifier to the attack and damage rolls. I say, yeah, that does mean you're going to use whatever your normal attack and damage would be, whether it's strength or dexterity, and then also add your Constitution modifier, because it doesn't say instead of. Hi, Megan. Everybody say hi in chat. When you use your bite and hit a creature that isn't a construct or an undead, you can empower yourself in one of the following ways of your choice. You can regain hit points equal to the damage dealt by the bite. You can grant a bonus to the next ability check or attack roll you make. The bonus equals the damage dealt by the bite, which I think is why your bite deals 1d4 piercing damage on a hit. Because could you imagine if it was more than that? It would be a bit much. Yeah, go ahead and be a mind flayer and be sucking out someone's brains and then be getting 4, 8, 10, 12 bonus. So I think it's fine for it to be a 1d4 plus your con modifier for this kind of thing, because it's not going to get overpowered. It's never going to be more than what you'd get, say, for an inspiration from a bard or bless or something like that. But giving you the bonus on the attack that's equal to either your strength and dexterity and your constitution, I think that's just fine. You can empower yourself with your bite a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest, which is also nice. So you can't just be biting everything.
Thank you, Megan. I love you. Very professional shop we're running here.
100%. I continue to talk in a very professional manner the entire time. It did not talk about flumps at all. So the question came up, and I've answered it, but let me get your opinion. The Vampiric Bite specifically says you add your Constitution modifier to the attack and damage rolls when you attack with your bite. And so the question is, because of that, it doesn't say instead of. So does that mean it's in addition to your strength modifier? Is it your strength and your con? And that's what you get? And your proficiency bonus?
Yeah, let me look. Your Fanged Bite is a natural weapon, which counts as a simple melee weapon, so no finesse shenanigans, by the way. You add your Constitution modifier to the attack and damage rolls when you attack with your bite. Your bite deals 1d4 piercing damage on a hit. Yikes.
I said yes. I said, yeah, you're adding your con and your strength when you're doing your bite, because in the end it's doing 1d4 plus the bonuses, which even if you've got really high bonuses are not going to get you more than say.
It's not game breaking at all. It really, this is the thing about, this came up recently. Like I've been using my baby stats for my first character I ever rolled, and they're higher than the point buy. It's remarkable how not effective that is. Yeah. No, I mean, like, unless you've got 3 18s, it's not really going to push the needle. It also depends on how you play that character. But this is good. True. Like, if you're playing a fighter type, you probably have a high constitution and a high strength. So this is very advantageous for a fighter, certainly.
Yeah, I mean, literally the strongest you're getting here is plus 10 with, plus 5 in each.
That's way down the road, yeah.
Plus your proficiency bonus when you're attacking, at least.
Yeah.
And then, when you're talking about the damage, because the fear here is the bonuses that you get are either you're regaining hit points or you're being able to add that to the next ability check or attack roll that you make. And so we're talking at the most at higher levels, 13, 14, 15, which 13, 14, 15 hit points, not insignificant, but not game breaking at those levels.
No.
And that bonus to the ability check or attack roll, it's once, and you can only use it a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. So like I was saying before you were so viciously attacked by a mind flayer, you can only use this so many times. So it's not just you going out there and going bite, 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 bite.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not worried about either way, frankly. However, the fact that you do get hit points equal to the damage you deal is kind of a big deal. You're right, though, it's not game breaking in the amount. We certainly saw this in the Barbarian Path of the Beast. You gain a bonus. Does
Wait.
that stack?
Okay. It's because a question just came through chat. This is considered a natural weapon, right?
Yes, it is.
There was an errata that came out a while ago that said that natural weapons, you could smite with them, right?
Oh, wow.
And so the question just came through chat. If you smite on your bite, you get to heal that extra damage.
You smite on your bite.
If you smite on, that's the next Dr. Seuss book that's coming out. If you smite on a bite, I am going to guess that's not the intent. However,
it's amazing.
I'm almost dead, so I'm gonna smite on this bite, and I'm gonna do 42 damage, and then
just drink their milkshake.
Give me all of your blue.
I feel like they're probably going to adjust that. So,
yeah.
And that's what we see is sometimes Unearthed Arcana, very often, is overpowered. So, how about this? You gain a bonus to your next ability check or attack roll you make. The bonus is equal to the damage you dealt. This is fun and interesting because you could flavor this in just about any way you want to. Say you bet someone and then you try to persuade them. Well, that's an ability check. So you get that bonus. So you kind of have that flavor of vampires having some kind of mesmerism to them, right? So I think that's kind of interesting. I'd like them to keep that. Obviously, being getting a little bit an extra roll for your attack roll and so forth is on point, but the ability check stuff is interesting.
The ability check is interesting. There's also
Well, if you're draining, what if you're a psychic vampire? What if you're draining the ability to what if you did an Arcana check and suddenly you're a little bit better at it for a round?
Also, there's no time limit on this. Assumably long rest usually gets rid of anything, but if you grab a couple of extra points from this person and then 3 hours later you bank that, and the next thing you're doing it's just the next ability check or attack roll. It's not that it has to be within a certain time frame or fight or person or anything. So if you're smart about it, then hey, we're on our way to persuade the king. Hold on a sec. I gotta drink some. I gotta go get some blue from somebody. Hold on a second.
You gotta get some blue.
I gotta get blue. All right. We're good.